Welcome to another Faith Note for today. A story is told about the prophet Elijah during the time of the reign of King Ahab. Ahab is considered the most wicked king to rule Israel. At one point, God instructed Elijah to inform Ahab that a drought was coming. It would last until God caused it to rain again. That drought lasted 3 years before God instructed Elijah to inform Ahab that rain was coming. After praying 7 times and asking a servant each time after each prayer to go check the sky, we hear these words from 1 Kings chapter 18. Finally, the 7th time, the servant told Elijah, I saw a little cloud about the size of a man's hand rising from the sea. Then Elijah shouted, Hurry to Ahab and tell him, climb into your chariot and go home. If you don't hurry, the rain will stop you. Scripture goes on to describe how a terrific rainstorm followed. You know, there's an interesting story with my kids I want to share with you. They wanted to borrow the car to take some of their friends to the movies. It was a Saturday evening. Everything seemed fine when they left. Late that night, we received a call. The car would not start after the movie. They were safe but stranded in the parking lot. We drove another vehicle over to the theater, picked them up, and delivered them home safely. Sunday afternoon, I went over to try and figure out what prevented the car from starting. It was a miracle that I found it. You see, I'm not a mechanic. The culprit was a small 1-inch plastic rectangular shaped cap that had developed a corrosion buildup over the years. 2 wires went into that cap from opposite ends. Somehow during the time they turned the car off and returned a few hours later, the corrosion buildup had become enough to prevent the car from starting. It wasn't something that was big, like a battery or an alternator or something simple like they'd run out of gas. It was this small plastic cap located in an obscure place under the hood. You know, it took me a few days to locate a replacement part, but as soon as the new cap was installed and the 2 wires connected, the car started right up. Yeah, I wonder how often the same thing happens in our personal lives. It's not the big things that trip us up. It's not a dramatic, life-changing event that overwhelms us. It is instead something relatively small and obscure that seemed harmless at the time. Maybe we justified our actions by telling ourselves everyone does it. Maybe we rationalized what we did or failed to do, and as thinking it was okay because, after all, no one was hurt. Maybe no one else was present, and we assumed that no one would ever know, and somehow that would make it okay. You know, what we do in the small things, how we conduct our lives when no one's around, how we act when no one is looking, defines character. It's not what we do when everyone's watching, but what we do when God alone sees us. Our actions speak volumes about who we are and what we value when no one else is around. It really is the small things, the small decisions, the obscure things said and done that best reflects our integrity and our character. It's the small things that can build us up or trip us up. It all depends on the choices that we make, whether they're big or small. Thank you for watching another Faith Note for today. I want to close with this verse from Zechariah chapter 4. Do not despise these small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices to see the work begin. In other words, God pays attention to the small stuff. Amen.